The annual Easter Sydney duck fashion show. The viral event that many websites reported on. The question is, does it even exist? Turns out it probably doesn't, to be honest. But since we already have the duck photos at hand, we might as well just have a respectful look. So from my research, it looks like the man behind it all was Brian Harrington, a duck enthusiast who sadly passed away back in 2015. And his Pied Piper duck show took place at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. I'm not sure how many times and like when was the last time, but he definitely performed the duck fashion show during the 2008 Sydney Royal. And there are some videos of shows around like 2010. So that's all I know. And in an interview, he said that he developed the idea around 1980 and that he believed that he was the only person in the world specializing around duck shows and duck fashion parades. He describes that the show usually consisted of like a fashion parade, and that fashion parade had like 5 different sections, and that was followed by a little duck race. So I'm just giving a little historical background to this video, okay? Just bear with me for a second. And he also said that he was behind the design of all of the duck outfits and that he got his inspiration from, you know, touring and driving around Australia. So basically there is a limited amount of pictures online from the Pied Piper duck show, and that's going to have to be enough for us because I'm not missing out on giving a Sydney Royal Easter Show duck fashion parade review. We're gonna start off with this beautiful married couple. As we can see, we see a very historically accurate high collar on the gentleman on the left, and I'm assuming the inspiration for this one could have been like Edwardian because she's wearing a very elaborate hat and her neck is covered, like properly covered as well, so I'm assuming they're going for like an Edwardian look, and that will also match his outfit, which is like clearly a very tailored vest, though I'm not sure if you can call it a vest if it only covers your neck. We have some more shots of the bride, and honestly, I'm just gonna have to focus your attention on this particular pic because it's just so cute. There is just something about the groom that for me it just makes this pic worthwhile. Next up we see what appears to be one duck, but it's actually 2 ducks. And I'm seeing a lot of like late 18th century inspiration here, you know? Even the color palette, but also the fact that it reminds me greatly of the chintz fabric that was popular around the second half of the century, so definitely some of that going on here. But then we have, you know, the standing collar, which is sort of something that is featured in a lot of these outfits, and I'm assuming this was Brian's like staple wardrobe moment, but it's not very historically accurate for 18th century styles if you ask me, so I'm just gonna say that. But also notice how, because of how these ladies are built, there is actually no need for a bum pad. Like they have that booty, they have that cape. I think the lady on the left is the same one as the previous picture. Is she? It looks like the same one to me, it's just the front. The top though gives off 1890s vibes or even like 1900s, so there's definitely, you know, a lot of fashion inspiration coming into this one. The one on the right features what seems to be a similar design, but no, don't be fooled. Clearly her skirt in this one is beautifully pleated. The fabric, I wouldn't say it reminds me of anything in particular. I think it's a very duck show fabric for sure. I'm gonna say this gives off like major Bridgerton vibes, the color and the fact that it's just like really shiny satin, I'm assuming. But also check out the featheriest of hats that I have ever witnessed. I'm gonna say it's definitely the highlight of this outfit for me. Though if we had a picture of her from the back, you could definitely see there is some bow action going on around where I presume starts her lower back. Okay, definitely major Victorian vibes for this one. Definitely 1880s come to my mind as soon as I see this one. We have a bustle going on, which is, again, something that might be naturally featured in this duck. But at the same time, there is a very interesting feature that to me reminds me of corsetry, which is, you know, the lacing at her back. Definitely something that has this like steampunky Victorian vibe to it. And then of course the beautiful hat, which is honestly, the lace just gives off that little Victorian oomph that is needed for the whole thing to just ooze Victorianness. So this lady is definitely up to some mischief in like 1885 London. Honestly, the pink ladies either look like Mean Girls to me, or again, give off like Bridgerton vibes. The fact that I just compared those two to these two beautiful ducks kind of makes me think that it's not accidental. But also, if I saw these fits in like 2003, I would wear them without even thinking that's for a duck. Like, I would just wear it instantly because it's the color palette with the flowers. This little duck is apparently really happy with her fit, which I'm presuming is made from some sort of like Asian fabric, because that's what it looks like, just some sort of like Asian silk. I'm not a fan of the hat for this one. I feel like it's just not the same vibe as the rest of the fit, and even the fabric seems different. So I think this one is a bit chaotic, but if that's what she likes to wear, you know, like, I'm not judging her. So these three, I cannot decide if I love them or if I'm like terrified of them, because it seems to me like they might be fun, but also they look like they're on their way to like bite your ass. So I'm gonna say these are controversial. Like, even the color palette gives off something unsettling, and the fact that there's three of them, you know, like a lot of famous criminals, there were like three of them. Like, just something about the hats being pink is really unsettling to me. I don't know why. This little guy would look amazing on like St. Patrick's Day, because honestly, this whole fit, I'm gonna have to say, like, compared to the other fits, this one is very like costumey. It gives very much like Leprechaun. No offense to this guy here, but for me it's a bit of a miss, and especially like the yellow underskirt, not the best vibe. This one on the other hand is a hell of a vibe. You can even tell how excited this beautiful duck is by this outfit, because who wouldn't? Honestly, I feel like weirdly, if you dropped like the frilly cape, this definitely looks like something you could get off like Shine without the neck as well. I mean, generally speaking, like, the less fabric, the more it looks like something a modern person could wear. I love this whole fit, and I love like the fabric and everything. I'm just a little bit unsure about the hat, which to me looks a bit like onion surrounded by like a pile of cheese. So a controversial look for sure, but the rest is on point, I think. Just give her some high heels and she's ready to go and conquer the world. Definitely a different vibe in this one. This lady is not playing, like, she's out to get your man. Is that Dupioni silk? Or is it patterned? I think the silk, at least the one that is used like for the underskirt and the neck piece, is pattern, so there's that. We also have beautiful decoration. It's very like powerful. It's a powerful fashion statement, so like you could definitely tell she wanted the attention, like she wanted people to know that she is here. This one on the other hand, she would not care if you didn't see her at all. So wholesome, honestly. Like, you can tell she's just this nice lady that gives you tea, and if you entered her home, her living room is decorated in this like 90s style British IKEA chintz fabric. Honestly, I would love to be her friend. This one is a fashionista. Like, she saw that fabric and she knew what to do with it immediately. Not afraid of like bold patterns, not afraid of being covered in those patterns head to toe. They don't have toes though. Covered in patterns all over. Not even afraid to put that same pattern on the hat, because she knew that it doesn't really matter, because the confidence is what makes this outfit work. Okay, hear me out. Sherlock Holmes, A. B. Bernadette Banner. C. Just British wool 19th century man style. Anything around that is what I'm seeing here. And also, don't be afraid of the dog, because I have witnessed on some of the videos that he is actually like taking care of the duck. So they seem like good friends, honestly. He's not doing anything to them, and they're not like, oh no, the dog. They're just like, oh, there he goes again. So don't be afraid of the dog, because on some pics it actually looks like he's about to eat them. But I'm assuming that's not what happened. I'm gonna say that for these fits, I'm not a fan of the hats. Like, they could do much more like Sherlock Holmes-ish, but the hats end up giving it a Western style vibe, which I personally think ruins the Sherlock Holmes appeal. Okay, so we actually see that the bald lady has 2 siblings, and there is actually at least 3 of them. So not as bold as I thought, not gonna lie. Turns out that it's probably a costume, I don't know. These kind of look like those 2 crazy aunts that come to like every family event and you never know what the hell they're gonna do. The color combination in this one is just unsettling to me, and the fact that they're both dressed this way, it honestly looks like they're on their way to join like some kind of a sect. See, like, they're friends. These on the other hand, like, I know there's 3 of them, but they kind of look like a band. Like, not like a high-end band that would end up at Coachella or something. They look like a band that would play on your wedding at a discount price, you know what I mean? They look like they will give you a good time without necessarily giving good music, but you would still be like, oh, remember at my wedding, those like 3 guys in daffodil hats? Unfortunately for me and for you guys, these are all the fashion duck show photos I could find online, and honestly, I wish this was an actual thing, because the way the articles made it sound, it was like, oh, it's happening every year, and all of these people come to Sydney especially to see those ducks, but I was like, where are the videos? Like, where are the photos? We're living in the digital age, and like, there's nothing, so I'm assuming like that's probably not a thing anymore. Well, at least we have the photos though. Anyway, enjoy your Easter or Ramadan. And anyway, bye.